Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. Though this evening we're doing it a little bit different. Yes, you are used to Simone asking the questions, asking those hard questions. But for this evening, we're posing the questions to Simone. So we're going to be delving into a little bit of her life to understand what about Simone is unique. And so we're going to have that discussion because we have Simone Stewart in the hot seat this evening. So let's go.
How important is a new year or a new beginning with reference to spiritual endeavors? Does it need to be connected to something spiritual? How do you prepare for a new year in the midst of a pandemic? Guys, join me December 26, 2021 at 5 p.m. on our YouTube channel with guests such as Tanisha Shaw, Heather White Davis, and Dr. Charlotte Ashman. I tell you, it is going to be lit. My co-host is going to be Latoya Smith, and if you know her well, you know we are a good pair when it comes to hosting various programs. So guys, mark your calendars and make sure you are there for Transformational Chat. See you then.
Uniquely me is uniquely you. Balancing the different hats of life, achieving all your goals in the name of Christ. Uniquely me is uniquely you. You can do anything. With the S on your chest, you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength. You are a winner and you're an overcomer. You can be all things to Christ who gives you strength, yeah. You are a fighter, you're so determined. Uniquely me is uniquely you.
So Simone, how does it feel to be on the other side this evening? Tell us, how does it feel?
Well, I must say that I am extremely nervous. I'm wondering to myself if this is how my guests feel when I introduce the program, because literally I'm like, okay.
All right, but don't be too nervous because maybe you're used to some of the questions, so you already have the answers in your head. All right, so we're going to start out with your early years. I know that you grew up in Flankers, so tell us about growing up in Flankers.
Life in Flankers was awesome, and in recent times, I don't know if I'm getting old, but I find myself thinking about back home a lot, Latoya. For starters, we grew up on the backside of Flankers. A lot of persons probably now don't know what I mean, but what is now the main road of Flankers across from White House, we lived across there, and that was all captured area, rocks, bush, that kind of thing. So it was kind of bittersweet because I remember I used to say to myself, when I grow up, I live nowhere near here, so because taxis couldn't go down there, cars were not allowed to go down there, and there was no street light, there was no proper structure per se, and so if you ask me for a while, life was rough. I remember too that, and guys, I really feel vulnerable here, that we didn't have proper toilet facilities, and so as a small child, what we had to do was to go across to the bush, and yes, persons looking, yes, so we used to go a bush, me and my sister them, and those who live in Flankers Montego Bay can identify. Then I remember we had a little toilet in the yard, and Latoya, I remember them time they never flush toilet. So my mother used to have to dig, she got some men to dig the hole, what we call a manhole or something, and build the covering and put the toilet seat, they built the toilet seat then. And I remember it was so bad at some point in time, Latoya, that my sisters and I, we used to have to walk on like a board, like a straight board to go. We hold each other over the toilet so that we didn't fall in. And so then we didn't know we're poor, we never know that things rough because it's me and my sister, it was us girls and that kind of thing, and we would look back, try to support each other, but I look back now and I say, God, we never fall in the toilet.
The grace of God even then.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us a little bit about the family structure.
Well, it's straight single parenting. It was my mother alone, so everybody know Miss G, and everybody knows the Miss G girls. Matter of fact, who don't know as Miss G know as madda-daughter, and so it was just my mother. I must say that there were times that she would often remind us, of course, that father run, but she never run. But the truth is, I got to understand the story as I got older. My dad went overseas to make life better for us, and instead of typical man, him go and him get married, and my mother decided she now have nothing to do with him, so she decided she would raise us all by herself. So it was just me, my two sisters, and my mother in the home.
All right, so tell us a little bit now. So early years, you're going off into school now, so give us a little bit about the school part.
Flankers all age, big up. That's as much as I can remember in terms of Flankers all age. The thing again is that, I'm talking to you, Latoya, and it's bringing a lot of sad memories because life was rough. So it took us maybe half an hour to walk from school to home, and we had to go home for lunch and come back. And there were days when I got back from lunch, school over, so I'd have to be trying to run inside school to find my bag, because school over. Sometimes when you're home, you see children. Sometimes when we walked home, matter of fact, for lunch, there was no lunch there. So you literally just walk home and just
then walk right back.
Yes, because mommy never had it.
All right, understand. So you have mentioned quite a bit of the challenges. So looking back and looking at where you are, even though we're going to delve a little bit more into where you are now, but what do you say about what happened then? Do you think it has impacted you in any way?
Yes. And I'll tell you why I say yes, resounding yes. From that tender age, I was resolute in my mind and determined that I'm not going to continue this. And so I kept telling myself, one, I not live back here, so I not stay a flanker. Two, I not stay nowhere where car can come drop me in my yard. It was that serious. And also that my children, I'll try to make things a lot different for my children. So now my friends who know me, and you know me, Latoya, that I'm a foodie. And maybe I'm a foodie because we never had it then.
Right.
And so now if I want something, I go get it. All the things that I did not have as a child, Latoya, I'm so determined about getting it, and nobody, don't talk to me about not getting it, because I will tell you, I never had it as a child.
Okay, understand. All right, so you told us about the all age. What about secondary?
So I went to Herbert Morrison Technical High School, proud graduate of Herbert Morrison Technical High School. But we didn't get to graduate. And funny enough, Latoya, I never had a graduation all of my life. I think I only had my graduation when I did my BSc at UCC. So all age school, I don't remember why we did not have a graduation. I don't remember anything about basic school, but the year or final year at Herbert Morrison, Mr. Winstanley, and those who are listening will remember Mr. Winstanley.
She's calling the name.
Yes, man, they're calling name. Mr. Winstanley, there was some things, some issue at the school, and so that year the punishment for us was that we would not graduate. There would not be a graduation.
Right.
So we never had a graduation. So I never got to graduate, but I left high school as one of the awardees. I had gotten 6 CXCs at the time, and so for prize giving, I was amongst the prize those to be awarded. I was, of course, a prefect. I had done the interview for the head girl, but as per usual, I went in there too confident, and so I lost out. And so Daphne Chambers was the head girl that year.
Okay, so were you disappointed about that?
Yes, because I was, as far as what I know, I was earmarked for it.
Okay.
But again, like I said, Latoya, I went in there too confident. So instead of going in there and answering the question, I went in there thinking that they owed me something. And I look back now at it, and I'm saying, boy, I acted stupidly. But let's go back. I was a bright girl.
All right, so that's good. All right, so tell me now about the Christian journey. When did that begin?
Girl, that was awesome. So all my life, I have been in church all my life. I think if there's one thing, there are two things I will always laud my mother for. And that was, one, we had to go to school, and two, we had to go to church. So irrespective of whether we had shoes or we had clothes, there was a time for church. I remember I had a yellow pair of shoes, and Latoya, everything I was wearing, I'd find a yellow clip or a yellow ribbon to match with the yellow shoes.
Okay.
Because we didn't have anything else.
Yes.
And so church was a must. I look back now and I will say that a lot of the grooming that I got, a lot of who I am today is as a result of the church. So I started out at Flankers Open Bible, and Reverend James, I will forever love Reverend James as a father. He did a lot of the groundwork, because guess what? My mother had gone to the church to tell him that she's a single mom and that he need to make sure nothing happened to our children.
Okay.
So church over, and we had to be accompanied by the entire church to go home.
Right.
So there, I started there, Sunday school and the whole works. But then let me share with you how I gave my heart to the Lord fully at age 13. Sister Marie, she's now dead. Marie Clark. She, Sister Janet, Sister Carlene, Sister Angela. Those three ladies I remember in particular were very instrumental in Sunday school and sharing salvation. But my sister, who I followed, she's now dead, Christine. I remember when Christine got sick and my mother took me to the hospital for us to go look for her. And I remember hearing my mother saying to her at the bedside, you have to serve the Lord, you have to serve the Lord. And I stood there and I said to myself, this was me at age 12. How is it that I'm living with my mother and I'm not serving the Lord? I'm going to make Christine come serve the Lord and me not serve the Lord. And it was so coincidental that at that point, there was just this thrust by these Sunday school teachers to introduce me to the Lord. Right. And so May 13, 1993, it can be 93, 80, I don't remember. But I know it was May 13.
Okay.
I gave my heart to the Lord Jesus, never forgot it.
Right, and still there just the same.
Yes.
All right, so was there any point in your Christian life that you thought that this is just not for me? I'm going to just end it right here.
So let me I'm going to share something here now that I guess a lot of persons wondered. But those who know me close, I always had a boyfriend.
Okay.
And I know, Christian girl Simone, I always had a boyfriend. But here's the thing about the boyfriend thing now. There was no sex. No, we now go down that part because I fear God.
Right.
And there are two things I feared. I feared God and I feared my mother. So when God then go kill me, my mother will go kill me.
Okay.
So I always had a boyfriend. And I remember every time we got into that little kissing kind of thing, I thought to myself, my backsliding. But somehow, I don't know what it was, Latoya. Mm-hmm. I don't think I remember a time when I said, I need to put God on the back burner. Mm-hmm. No, I always had a connection to the Lord. What I would say is that over the years, it has intensified. I felt like I moved from levels to levels in the Lord as I got to understand the Lord a little better.
Okay.
I'm going to divulge some more information here. Why? I don't know. I feel like the hand of the Lord has been on me all my life, Latoya. Mm-hmm. So those who know me from Flankers, and I would have alluded to it, know that I referred to my mother as the mother woman. So a lot of persons know that my mother was the mother woman. My mother was the woman that everybody came to for advice and for rub up and for this and for that. And for years, I never thought anything was wrong with it. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I felt privileged. And I'll tell you why I felt privileged. Because even though we were mocked at school, I would go out in the mornings and I would see parents of the children who mocked me waiting to see my mother.
Okay.
I remember once though, I questioned it in that I remember seeing a lady that I knew from a popular church there in Montego Bay, and I saw her waiting to see my mom, and I thought, for a while I said, what's happening here? But then it kind of seemed normal, because if these people who are in the church are here to see my mother, right. It seems okay. Mm-hmm. I often would say to persons too that I never sensed demons in my home. right? I never sensed demons in my home. It was not the stinky stuff that we're used to, because persons who, yes, we refer to her as mother woman, but a lot of people say my mother was a woman. And so for a while, yes, it was a roller coaster, because on some spheres you feel vulnerable and you don't want nobody know, so your mother do this. And then in some spheres I felt powerful, right? Because so my mother, the mother woman, so mess with me, mess with my sisters.
Okay.
And there was a time when I got confident in it, that my mother was this, and so my mother could call up spirits, and my mother could see this and that kind of thing. So it kind of made me powerful, but then I also didn't like the fact that it kind of made me feel ostracized in some areas. But let me tell you where it got a little real concerning for me. As I got older, as I moved into the teenage years, my mother started saying that people will not accept us because of her.
Okay.
And so she started kind of withdrawing herself in some areas. So like I'll say, my mother has no clue where I live. She has never been to my home. Okay. And even when I was to get married, her reaction and her behavior was so standoffish that she didn't understand that it made me feel very alone, kind of abandoned, but she was behind the scenes. But it's just that I think for her, she suffered with her own sense of acceptance, and so it started transferring to me. I don't know about my siblings, but I can tell you for me, it started transferring there. So I started feeling a little, am I on the right side?
Yes.
Or am I on the wrong side? Do I support my mother? Do I not? But I will, just to end this part, here is when my eyes got fully open to recognize that, you know what, you don't sense demons here, but what you are in is not right. I had gone to a woman's retreat. Can never forget. I went to a woman's retreat, and somehow the Lord spoke to me in a really strong way through different speakers at that retreat. And I remember coming home resolute that I'm going to tell my mother that, Mommy, you need to stop this. This is not of the Lord. This is witchcraft and that kind of thing. And Latoya, me say, first I come home, I'm well armed with the word to come share with my mother, and I told her I needed to talk to her. And Mom, let me tell you something, I set up. When I got in that day, my mother cooked my favorite meal. My bed, makeup, my clothes, iron, because I think she had a love for me. Despite the fact that there were 6 of us, I think she had a love for me. But everything that was that I needed to be done, my mother did it that day. And Latoya went in and I told her I need to talk with her. My girl, when me decide to tell my mother, say, this wrong, it was the start of a downhill relationship for us.
Okay.
One, she blazed fire the night for me. She tell me, say the blood of Jesus for me. She attempted to hit me. She called her brother them, then come over. She called her friend them. And for a very long time, for months, my life was hell. She reminded me that this same thing that I am now saying that is wrong is what sent us to school and took care of us all the years. And I must admit, yes, that's what took care of us. But we never understand. And for me, as I grew deeper in the Lord, I recognized that this was not, it wasn't giving God the glory. But I will tell you that my mother was a praying woman. I would tell you that my mother read the word. Albeit that we grew up on the Psalm. But something just was not connecting, and I guess maybe for me it was just my spiritual eyes being open. And I don't want anybody listening to think that I'm bashing my mother. Yes, she's dead and gone, but the reality of the matter is I could not continue what my mother continued, what my mother did. And I will say to you that for years, I kept saying as a child that I was going to take over from my mother. And so as I got older and wiser and spiritually my eyes open, I had to begin to break it off my life because I was not about to continue the path of being a seer, because we know what the word says about being a seer. What I will tell you is that yes, the Lord has given me the gift of discernment. And so I'm very mindful that this is not my gift, Latoya. It is the gift of the Lord. And so I'm not going to go sitting down to tell people to come, let me foresee your future. Let me tell you about who is against you from who's not against you, that kind of thing. Because I think, yes, in all, I'm sure what my mother did was, at the time, for her would not have known that it was not for, it was it was not being done for the glory of God.
Right.
Because if when you come, I tell you that your mother work on you, your sister fight against you, your neighbor fight against you, and when we are through, you are at war or you're in a malice with those people. I wouldn't be building up the kingdom of God. No, I will tell you that you must be wise, because you do know that there are enemies out there.
Right.
But the truth is, I couldn't continue on that path. I have continued to break it off my life. I honor my mother. I will continue to honor her, and those, like I said, I know, because the channel is viral, a lot of people will see this, but it is what it is. I have accepted it. I've accepted that my mother was a mother woman. I've accepted that we are her children. I will accept that she loved us. She did the best for us. I am most of who I am today because of my mother.
Yes, but one of the things that just came to me, Simone, was the fact that the Lord uses anything, any situation for His glory.
Yes.
So you could also look at it to say, yes, she would have been along that path, but she chose a different path for you in the fact that she would have sent you to church.
Yes.
She would have gone to the church to say to the persons there that they need to look out for her kids. Yes. So it's still glorifying God in some way. Yeah? So we have to look at that part too.
Yeah.
So how would you describe your relationship with the Lord?
Now, girl, I think now Jesus and I wrap up in a bed. And I say that because, Latoya, the truth is, I have been through enough to know that He is more than enough for me.
Right.
I am a practical Christian, and so those who know me know that I talk a lot about the word. I talk a lot about prayer. I talk a lot about what God can do. But the Lord will tell you that He and I have had a lot of questions, a lot of reasoning with God.
Long
did you say this?
conversations.
Yes. Did you say this? Is this of you? You know, that kind of thing. But I think I have a good relationship with the Lord. One good relationship with the Lord.
Okay. A good relationship. With the daddy.
Yes.
Right. All right. So we have been looking at the Christian life. So tell me now a little bit about the other facets of Simone, Stephanie, Shaw, Stewart. Yes. Tell me about the Bible school, the preaching, the worship leader. Tell us a little bit about all of that.
You know, I never saw myself going to Bible school. Bible school, as a matter of fact, came at the time when, again, with my mother. My mother did not talk to me for 8 months, from February until August. I don't know if that's 8 months, but she didn't talk to me within that time. And I remember trying to find a way to leave out of her house. Me think me a big man.
Okay.
And that's when I got drawn to Bible school. So I came to Bible school, and like I said, I don't think, Latoya, honestly, when I look back now, I wasn't as strong a Christian then as I am now. But then it's a journey. Your walk with the Lord is a journey. And so God has moved me to this place where maybe all my life I've always been preaching in church, exalting in church. And I would never call it preaching.
Right.
I've always been a leader in the church. And so I will say, though, that the church has formed and fashioned me for the woman that I have become in the corporate world.
Right.
And so, hey, I would say to persons that church is not so much a bad place. No, it seems to be under a lot of attack. But you must know what you go to church for.
Right.
And so for me, I went, and as I got training, it helped me to be wiser, right? So I no longer just listen to what the pastor said from the pulpit. What did God say? What did the word say? Go read the word for yourself.
Right.
Get to know the Holy Spirit for yourself. And so those are some of the things for me that has helped me to grow.
Okay, excellent. Okay, all right. So you tell us about the different facets, how you balance everything.
It's a question I get all the time, and I don't know how to answer that. I just want to say, so when your mind make up about something, Latoya, you jump through hoops, take leaps and bounds, and you really don't think about it.
Right.
So in my mind, I think the truth is circumstances help to shape the different things I took on. And so there was a few years ago when I realized I was going to get a salary cut, and my salary would not have been able to support the home.
Right.
And so I decided I needed to find something else that would not clash with my work.
Right.
Then the Lord told me I had a voice, and hence came my authorship, the TV show. But then as a wife, that's another story. I got married with the notion that, there are some things that I need to do as a wife. I need to wash, cook, and clean. And yes, guys, I had that notion. I need to wash, cook, and clean. I need to do everything for my husband, while at the same time I need to have children. I need to be a woman. I need to be all of those things. So in my mind, Latoya mindset, I've always had this mindset that there are all these things I need to do, and so I'm going to use every waking moment that I have to do it. It's so bad now, Latoya, that if I'm in a line waiting to do something and I don't have my phone, or I don't have a book or something, I'm antsy. Because I feel like that's wasted time.
Yes.
It's so bad that if I go to the bathroom, I look for a book.
But why do you look at it to say bad? Because you're actually accomplishing things during that time.
No, because to me, and even though it might be rest time, because your brain needs to rest, to me it is time I could be doing something. I could be doing something productive. I could be reaching out to somebody. I'm serious. It's that serious. I struggle with these what I call time management. And one would say, but you seem to have it under control. Yes, but when I don't have it under control, I'm a hot mess.
Okay, so it is a case then where the me time is not there, because the me time is used to do other things.
Yes, and even though I must say I've been trying to find me time, but I find that even in me time, and so for instance, let me give an example. My me time is like maybe Netflixing, but I need to draw the computer to go on YouTube to check on something. So I don't know if I'm truly getting me time, because I'm thinking there's something for uniquely me I could be researching. You know, there's a comment that I could be checking on. There's a guest that I need to be reaching out to. So I find that all my time I'm cooking and I have the computer or the phone in the kitchen.
Right.
And so while I'm waiting on the pot to boil, I'm doing something. There's something for work I could be doing, and so my little brain doesn't stop working.
Yeah, but it's a good thing though, because you're accomplishing so much.
Yes.
So it's a good thing. So I guess in terms of finding the me time, you just need to be more deliberate about that aspect of it.
Yeah.
All right. So you mentioned a little bit about the family. So tell us a little about the family, about the kids, the husband.
Well, if anybody knows me, they know it's all about my Delroy. It's all about my Delroy, and then it's about my Samuel and my Simoya.
Right.
Samuel is my gift from the Lord. Literally, I got a prophecy that I would have a son, and I'm to name him Samuel, and so that's how my Samuel came about. My Simoya, I decided that I would fleece the Lord on another child, and so I went again and I bought a suit. I must put it out here that children for me having children is not the easiest thing, because I had a dermoid cyst that gave me only one ovary, and then that one ovary, doctor said that there was another cyst, so I was about to lose both ovary without any children, and the Lord worked a miracle to have allowed that one ovary to give me 2 children. So I am very grateful for my children. Of course, since then I've had to do major surgery, so I'm now experiencing menopause in my young years and stuff, but I have learned to appreciate what I have, Latoya.
Yes.
Because I have somebody who loves me. I have children who they're not hard to take care of.
Yes.
So I don't have some of the major problems that most persons have. So I'm grateful to the Lord for my Delroy. I love my Delroy and my children.
Okay, very good. All right. So what is your favorite Bible verse and why?
Philippians 4 verse 19. But my God shall supply all our needs according to his riches in glory by Christ Jesus. From as a child until now, Latoya. But my God shall supply. And Latoya, I'm telling you, I have watched God supply all my needs. I can tell you about standing on the roadside, and I used to wish somebody would stop and give me a ride. I remember I used to get a ride with a co-worker, and instead of driving to my gate, I had to meet her out the road, and sometimes I used to say, why shouldn't I just drive come at the gate for me, come pick me up or something, so I've learned to trust God for different things. At a point, I remember when my salary was only $20,000 and I bought a house, Latoya. When the first mortgage payment I got, it was 11,000 something for the mortgage out of 20 something thousand. And so I've learned to trust God, and I've seen the hand of God blessing my life. So yes, Philippians 4 verse 19 straight.
All right, excellent. All right, so now we're going back to the worship leader part. So this is what I want you to do for me. Sing the first verse and chorus of your favorite song. Yes, and for those who don't know, she sings very well.
Jesus. It is to you I give the glory. It is to you I give the praise. For you have done so much for me, and I will bless your holy name. It is to you, Holy Father, no one like you, and I will bless your name. Bless your name, and I will bless your name forevermore.
Hallelujah. Yes, Lord.
Jesus.
All right.
And uniquely me is uniquely you.
Hi guys, I thought I would share with you, for those of you looking for a Christmas gift or a New Year gift or a birthday gift, for that woman, that strong woman in your life, to offer the Uniquely Me Planner. Now, what can you find in the Uniquely Me Planner? You can find pages to write for each month. You have pages to write your goals, and we set it up so that those goals are smart, right? As you know, your goals need to be smart. So we have the specific, the measurable, the attainable, the relevant, and we put them in blocks so that you are able to fill them in accordingly. Also, you will find a daily to-do list, as well as for each day, if you need to put your calendar, what your calendar items will be, you have that as well. There's also a habit tracker, guys, or as well as a quote. There is a list for you to put what are your list of priorities in terms of things to be done. And of course, guys, we have pages and pages of that. We give you blank pages as well. So this is also, it is your diary, it's your planner, it's your time management tool is what I would call it. I want to encourage women who are creatives, women who are executives out there as well. You are trying to find a way to be productive. Here is your tool. And so guys, it's on Amazon. Just put in Uniquely Me Planner, or you can put in Simone Stewart and grab a copy of my Uniquely Me Planner. Guys, remember, Uniquely Me is uniquely you. Get your copy today.
And uniquely me is uniquely you.
So you mentioned earlier one disappointment that you had in terms of the head girl, but I'm sure that there would have been others. How have they influenced you along your path?
Wow, disappointments. I think in my, could have been 2018, 2 years before that is when I think my life started taking a nosedive. And it was a nosedive career-wise, because it was at this point that I had my second child. But what was a uphill also became a downhill, Latoya. So it was my 20th year of working in the bank. I was promoted to this new post, but it was a post that I needed to be trained in. I came back from maternity leave, not fully trained for the post, and was placed in the post within a week of coming back. Of course, no proper training, and in this particular environment, I wasn't hitting the targets like I should.
Right.
And so those 2 years, I was placed on needs improvement, the bank's performance appraisal, I should say. I was given needs improvement. Those 2 years, after 20 years in the bank, I never got a bonus for those 2 years.
Okay.
But I will share something else with you, Latoya, that those 2 years gave birth to what we are now experiencing. Because it's out of that I wrote my first book.
Right.
It's out of that I now have as much as 15 books. It's out of that I now help other persons to write. It's out of that Uniquely Me came about. It's out of that different ministries that I have they came to maturity or came to the fore. So I will say that yes, they were my pit situations. They were my what I would call my Potiphar situation. But I thank God for them because it was working out for me to get to the palace.
Amen, sister. Amen. All right. So, what word of encouragement would you give to persons who may be experiencing some disappointment as well and want to just say, throwing in the towel right now?
Dream big.
Okay.
I would say to them, dream big. The only person who can keep you back is you. The only person who can limit you is you. If you have a mindset and just think about it. I don't know what you're thinking right now, Latoya. Neither do you know what I'm thinking.
Right.
And so if I'm allowing you who don't know what I'm thinking to control what I'm thinking and how I act, what good is that?
Right.
So dream big. Imagine what you want to achieve and then put one foot forward. And when you do that, I had to get to a place, it's a Latoya, where I said to myself, I have two choices. In everything, I have two choices. It can either work for good or it not work none at all.
Right.
And so the only way I'm going to find out if it's going to work is if I move.
Right.
So I say to persons, dream big and move.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned earlier that disappointment in terms of the work would have propelled you into even Uniquely Me, right? So that would have been my next question, how that started and where it's at now.
Uniquely Me got started. This is our second year, because I did a full year. Matter of fact, this month makes it a full year. I did a full year on NTM TV. But let me just back up quickly. I had gone to this lady for her to Hicklin. I don't remember her first name. I'd gone to her, Deborah Hicklin, for her to assist me to market my books.
Right.
Deborah got excited and said, Simone, there's so much happening here. And so she decided that she would write me a TV program. But the cost of that TV program was a little too much in my mind. And so I would just put it out there in the atmosphere. I'm going to have a TV program, but I couldn't see the financing for it, Latoya. God worked it out that I ended up in the home of the owner of MTM TV, who told me he would produce my show. And so he did. He kept his word. And so I've told him, whatever I do, I will never forget his kindness and act of obedience in helping me to get started. But then, again, like I said, you must dream bigger. You must know your vision. My vision for where I wanted to go began to grow. And so I got to a point where I needed to take my program in my hands.
Right.
And I didn't know what I was going to do, Latoya. Honestly, I didn't know what I was going to do. But I found the Lord provided me with resources and persons who allowed me to understand that dreaming big, I could get to that level where my thoughts were.
Right.
And so I remember I got my bonus, and I took my bonus and I bought a camera, I bought a tripod, I bought lights, and I bought a mic. And then from there, Latoya, I remember one of my friends gave me his house to use that we could do the interviews. Another one of my friends gave me her office to use.
Right.
And then we started, anywhere we can find to interview people, we'll interview them there. And so that's how Uniquely Me got birthed and have progressed. And it's still going forward. And then the Lord did a miraculous thing. The Lord caused the program to have gone viral through the mouth of somebody I don't even know, right? And so I want to pause here to thank those who have come on and have been following and finding substance in Uniquely Me and supporting me throughout the journey. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay, so you would have interviewed numerous persons on your show talking about their experiences and that great encounter with the Lord. So tell us about one such encounter for you and what happened from that.
Latoya, there are quite a lot of them. The stories are numerous. They span from child molestation to prostitution to adult abuse. They span the whole matter of alternative lifestyle. They span poverty. They are numerous, Latoya. What can I say? Because they are also impactful. Wow. I think, Lord, I don't want to get into any trouble now because there are so there are so many. Whoa. I think the one is Auntie Rosie. I think Auntie Rosie it's not one that is popular on the channel, but Auntie Rosie will tell you about her husband, how he took her, and the abuse was so bad in front of her children. He would take her and sail her across the room. But it started from her father. She shared about her father gave her a slap across the face so bad that her mouth was filled with blood, and just so many things. The abuse, even as an adult, he took a shovel and slapped her across the back, and so that for me, Latoya, when I think about the abuse our women have gone through, when I think of some of the brainwashing that some of our women have gone through, it has allowed me to experience every emotion you can think about on set. There have been times I've been wanting to, while they're talking, I wish I could catch some of those persons to just, revenge, offer revenge on their behalf. But here's the thing, they have made me more protective of my children.
Right.
Honestly. They've made me more assertive, but also allowed me to see persons around me from a different point of view.
Okay. All right. So you would have selected the one that was most impactful. All right. Now tell me about, for you now personally, one of your encounter that you would describe as amazing. It had made such a big difference in your life. An encounter with the Lord.
Wow. I think it's that I remember it was 2015, Latoya. That week I was seeking the Lord a lot. I told the Lord I wanted an encounter with him. And I was to moderate that Sunday. Christine Harbour was coming to church. And I remember when I went up to moderate, Latoya, the atmosphere shifted. I remember seeing the clouds in the building, and I mean, it takes somebody who is spiritually discerning to see that, but the clouds had taken over the building. It was like a smoke. And I remember I couldn't speak. I wanted to move the service forward, but I couldn't speak. And I remember looking back, and when I looked back, I saw Christine Harbour with her hands pointed. But even though it was her hands, it was the fire of the Lord. And I remember falling to the ground. And on the ground, Latoya, I felt like fire all over my skin. Since then, Latoya, since September 2015, gotten up off that ground, I see things differently. And what do I mean by that? Let me explain. I'm sitting in my office and somebody walks past my office and I hear she's pregnant.
Okay.
And I confront the person, and that's the case. I'm sitting in my office and somebody stands at the door and I see right through them. And I'm like, God, what are you doing? I am in West Virginia, and I got a dream of somebody in the office with a bed in their office. And I'm like, why am I seeing this particular person? Only to come back, and a month later, somebody comes to say to me, I am having an affair with this person.
Wow.
So for me, that encounter for me has changed my entire life.
Right.
I am sleeping and I'm dreaming that there are distorted animals in my home.
Yes.
I wake out of my sleep pleading the blood of Jesus, going through my home pleading the blood of Jesus, and only to discover that the things that I am seeing are actually happening, and so the Lord would have showed me them in advance. I am dreaming about hearse on my block, only to recognize, not knowing that, but only to discover a night later that it is indeed a hearse. No, I don't know. Persons listening will say, but let me tell you, for me, I don't play with my dreams. I don't play since September 2015. I don't play, Latoya. If I get up and if I go to my bed and whatever it is that I see in my dreams, I say, okay, God, I need to become very alert.
Right.
So my encounters with the Lord have made me very much more alert in the realms of the spirit. And I keep saying, I said to the Lord, I said, God, show me people business for me to go talk about it. There must be a reason why you're showing me somebody's business.
Right.
And so one of the greatest thing that I've discovered is to go pray.
Yes.
Because, and I say that to Latoya, because if the Lord showed me that you were in an accident, me come and tell you now, say, you were in an accident, you're going to panic.
Yes.
So I've learned, the Lord has taught me how to mature in that area.
Right.
That you don't go spreading the bad news because you dreams to them.
Yes.
Go pray
Yes.
and ask the Lord, because the Lord is showing you stuff in advance so that you can pray, so that whatever the enemy has planned, the Lord is giving you the answers to combat that in advance.
All right. Okay, excellent. And I can attest to some of those dreams too. All right. So you would have authored quite a few books, Simone, right? And you did mention how it would have started, but in what span would you have done 16 books?
2018, Latoya.
2018
I started. I didn't put out anything last year. So it was 2018 to 2020. Just this year, I revised my first book, that's the God's Daily Portion. I did a revision of it, so that's the only one out this year. So in 2 years, the Lord would have allowed me to birth, without this one, 14 books in advance. And the truth is, Latoya, there's so many books on my computer. There's so much on my computer. I will tell person, English is not one of my strong points. So how did I become an author out of this? I don't know. It had to have been God. And they span, of course, my memoir, the Uniquely Me. They span devotionals, mainly devotionals, journals. But one of them that I really want to talk about is this one, the Uniquely Me Planner.
Okay.
I did that one in particular to help persons who are struggling with their time management. And I don't know if you mind me taking up a little.
And let them see it, right?
This one, I really want persons to get this one for their 2022, because I think, Latoya, we need to, the word of the Lord says you must write the vision.
Yes.
And make it clear. Not only that, but sometimes we're depending on our memory to help us to remember what we need to do. Right. I did this planner to help persons to, one, document your thoughts, right? So there are journal pages. I did also in it anything that you do on a regular basis, or you really want to say, am I, how good am I at this? There's a habit tracker in here. If there's your to-do list as well. There are things that you're grateful for, and I also have little quotes in there,
right?
So persons can be motivated on a daily basis.
Yes.
So this planner, and guys, I mean, yes, it's thick, but it's nice and handy to take around and that kind of thing. I created this
pretty.
Yeah, and I did it girly too.
Yes,
because I wanted women to be able to identify with it. And I think there's something about it when you walk into a room with a journal that it says, hey, I mean business.
Yes.
So I kind of did it. There are two of them. There's this one, and I also have one. This one has the black and white on the inside, but there's one that has all color.
Okay.
And stuff. There's also, I didn't leave out the teenage girls. I also did the Princess Prayer Planner. So this one is supposed to, it's for the young girl, the teenager, and so it's very colorful. So there's a color me in there. There's writing your vision. It's this is actually one of my favorites. I must be honest. It has a lot of little stuff in there.
I think you were thinking about Simone when you did that one.
Kind of. But yes, it is for the teenager, or that mother that says, hey, my daughter is a princess and she's looking for something. I did that one for her.
All right. So you would have done all these books, and now out of doing all these books, I know that there's a little bit of publishing that is being done, because most of this would have been self-published. So tell us about that other aspect, the publishing aspect that you're now into, and persons are coming to you for you to assist them.
Well, again, you see, experience teaches wisdom. And when I started wanting to put out a book, Latoya, I couldn't find anybody.
Right.
And I, with the help of a friend in England, I haven't even met her, was a co-worker's sister. She helped me to put out my first 2 books. Then I decided for Uniquely Me, I would go through a publisher, Happy Self Publishing. They helped me, but I learned, for me, I said I needed to learn the process.
Right.
And so over time, like I told you, I use every waking moment. I'm always researching searching, looking for ways to do stuff. How do I do this? As well as there's a place to connect with people, Latoya.
Yes.
So I connect with persons who know how to do what I can't do.
Right.
And so I've built me a little team that now helps me with publishing. And so I think I've gone, 12 books or more? I've lost count.
That you have done for others?
For other persons.
Wow.
Because for me, it is, I don't know, it's a joy for me. And I want to see other persons birth their book. Not only that, but it is leaving a legacy in the earth.
Right.
So I am out there. I've not really put it out there that I'm a publisher. But if you need help with your book, I am available.
Okay, excellent. And that is one more facet of Simone. All right. So looking back on all that you would have accomplished, what do you have to say to those persons who just have an inkling of something that they want to do? I know you mentioned earlier, dream big.
Yeah.
But
I will say, just do it. You know, they said Nike says just do it. Well, Simone is saying just do it.
right.
You will not know if the thing is successful unless you do it, Latoya.
Right.
You will not know what are the missing parts unless you've started to do it, right? My husband always tell me about the light bulb, the person who did the light bulb, that they tried it a number of times before they actually discovered that it could work. Same thing with the person who built cars and planes. There are casualties along the way,
Yes.
but the thing is, you will never know unless you do it. So listen, if there's something, matter of fact, let me back up. I remember when I met this man that sold screws. And I say, screws? But Lotta, think about it. Every single thing that we use needs a little screw. Everything, the chair
Yes.
we're sitting on, the TV we're watching, the camera, it needs a little screw. And so he decided that he would go into the screw business.
Right.
And can I tell that man never have hands to sell screw?
Yes.
The point I'm making is that your vision, what you want to do is not too small.
Yes.
It is whatever it is that if the Lord dropped it in your spirit, it means that somebody is waiting on it. Not only that, something else that I've discovered. If you want to test to see if what you want to do is viable, just go on the internet and you will discover that whatever it is that you're thinking you want to do, there's somebody out there who has already done it and is successful at it, or somebody else that is just starting. So stop dreaming and imagining. Act.
Right.
Move out of place now. Just do it.
Right, and there's a world of information out there, as you would have said, because when you started, you would have gone and done your research.
Yep.
Yeah, so the information is there. So start, and you will get somewhere. So what's next in store for Simone Stewart? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I'm looking at for 2020. I want to launch my B mentorship program. I'm just putting that out there. I'm really looking at doing that. Just last night I was saying to myself, I'm really going to take a plunge with that. So putting out an official mentorship program, mentoring women who wants to go into business, or looking forward to going into business, creative business like this. I am looking at setting up my studio, and it's a studio not just for me, but it's a studio for all the creatives that are looking for a place to come and dream big.
Okay.
So for persons who want to do their own YouTube channel, persons who want to set up their podcast, I'm looking at doing that. I'm looking at expanding the printer as well, the publishing business, I should say, taking on more persons to do their books. Yeah, I'm looking at that, and for Uniquely Me, I'm looking at doing some collabs with persons who are in the field. I'm looking also at being more out in the field with our women too. So I don't know. I'm also watching where God will go, Latoya.
Right.
With this, because amidst all of this, I am His handmaid and His mouthpiece. So I'm dreaming big, and I'm putting these forward. But I also want it to be known that unless the Lord builds the house, we labor in vain. So it's very important to me that I'm walking in purpose. I'm walking in the footsteps of the Lord. So it's whatever He says.
Okay, all right, excellent. All right, so you would have mentioned Jose and kids. I think you mentioned Reverend James. But no, I want you to know, just give a shout out to other persons who you think that would have impacted you in such a way, and they would have influenced where you are now.
Wow. So, of course, like you said, my husband, he's my biggest cheerleader.
Right.
He has a way of saying to me, what have you got to lose? Do it. There's never a time that I've gone to the Lord with an idea or a thought that he has shoot it down. So I really want to first and foremost just really give a shout out to my supportive husband. My children are always there. Even right now, Simone is somewhere running up and down. They're always there. But I also want to thank, let me tell you, what is this phase of Uniquely Me? Andrew. You say, Andrew McDonald, look here, guys. Andrew McDonald. Hey, look here, if we never seen face right now. But Andrew McDonald has been very instrumental in helping to ensure that, he's my videographer, guys, to ensure that Uniquely Me gets out week over week. They're supportive friends, and guys, you hear her question me. She's listen, apart from my husband, this lady sitting beside me, Latoya, I don't know what I'll do without her. Latoya, Diane, I know Dan, you're watching this and you're smiling. Dan makes it happen for me in more ways than one. Her ears, she's never ever too busy to listen to me. Arlene, that's my best friend overseas, and I don't want to get into calling names, but there are some people, there are some people that are just there in my corner, guys, and the truth is I have to give honor to where honor is due. I will say, my current pastor, Reverend Early Brown, sir, thank you. You are a good administrator and you sown some seeds. For my book launch, you were there. You told me, you prophesied to me with the word that God has placed a plumb line in my hand. I have not lost that word, sir. Angels Open Bible, big up. Uno just always there, always a watch. And then there are just some fans, Latoya, that are always there. I've not met most of them. They're there on the channel. They're always there supporting me, always asking what's next, and that kind of thing. They're there on Instagram. And I just have a community of people, Latoya, that I really just want to thank God for. We can't call names because we go get in a trouble.
But we can understand that.
Yeah. But there are a set of persons, like I said, who are just there consistently. I can always rely on them.
All right, so guys, there goes all my questions. I don't have any more for her. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Uniquely Me and you got all the details about Simone, and so I'll invite you as well. If you have other questions, just put them in the chat on the channel, and at some point we'll get her to answer those as well. Thanks for joining us.
Well, I think, Latoya, for 2022, we need a co-host. So I say nothing more.
All right.
So, guys, don't forget to subscribe. Me no send a my part this. Latoya is supposed to be saying that part. We have to add that part in.
Yeah, she can say that part. Go ahead.
So make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share, and head over to Instagram and let me know what you think. I'm be myself. Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
And uniquely me is uniquely you.
Hi, guys. I thought I would share with you, for those of you looking for a Christmas gift or a New Year gift or a birthday gift, for that woman, that strong woman in your life, to offer the Uniquely Me Planner. Now, what can you find in the Uniquely Me Planner? You can find pages to write for each month. You have pages to write your goals, and we set it up so that those goals are smart, right? As you know, your goals need to be smart. So we have the specific, the measurable, the attainable, the relevant, and we put them in blocks so that you are able to fill them in accordingly. Also, you will find a daily to-do list, as well as for each day, if you need to put your calendar, what your calendar items will be, you have that as well. There's also a habit tracker, guys, or as well as a quote. There is a list for you to put what are your list of priorities in terms of things to be done. And of course, guys, we have pages and pages of that. We give you blank pages as well. So this is also, it is your diary, it's your planner, It's your time management tool is what I would call it. I want to encourage women who are creatives, women who are executives out there as well. You are trying to find a way to be productive. Here is your tool. And so guys, it's on Amazon. Just put in Uniquely Me Planner, or you can put in Simone Stewart and grab a copy of my Uniquely Me Planner. Guys, remember, Uniquely Me is uniquely you. Get your copy today.
And uniquely me is uniquely you.
Who am I really? Choices, choices, choices. In pursuit of a career? OMG, I'm a wife. Help, I am a mother. Oh, I'm in church. When do I get to be a woman that God called me to be? Uniquely Me covers the acrobatic endeavors of every woman to balance the responsibilities of being a mother, a wife, a professional, a church leader, a friend, yet still maintain her identity. I too am a mother, a wife, a trained minister of religion, a banker, an entrepreneur trying to balance the many hats that signifies my role. My book will help motivate and empower every woman who is really unique in her own way. Grab your copy today on Amazon, because Uniquely Me is uniquely you.
Thank you for tuning in to Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. Remember, Uniquely Me is uniquely you.